and welcome to the town of Surf City for our regular meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I'm going to call upon Pastor Bobby Owens to lead us in our invocation.
All right, cool. Yeah, we can all stand. That'd be great. And before we pray, I just want to say thank y'all. All right, let's pray together. God, we do give you praise and thanks just for the opportunity we have to hang out with you each day of the week and know, God, that when we come together as a community, God, you're a part of every meeting we're with. So, God, we want to honor you and glorify you in all that we do. We ask you to bless our mayor, our town council, all of the town staff, the folks who serve and work in this community so faithfully. God, just give us strength. God, encourage us daily. God, let us love you back and love each other the way you want us to. And so, God, tonight in this meeting, let's indeed help us to have, as Paul encourages, the mind of Christ in all things. And we pray it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. If you would, please continue standing. And Cub Scout Pack 777 is going to come up and... Okay.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Well done, well done.
Y'all can take all the candy.
We'll start that again.
Oh, absolutely.
Future is safe.
We'll let them clear out. Okay, it is this point in our agenda to where we're going to call upon Sandy Monroe, who leads our Beautification Enhancement Committee Awards. If you would step forward and do your presentation.
Is this on?
There we go.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to see so many people. This is a really big crowd. I hope you guys aren't nervous.
They're all here to see you, Sandy.
So the first thing I'd like to present is our monthly business of the month. And we have a couple of different criteria for this. One is that you beautify your property, the exterior of your business, and a lot of times the interior lobbies and things as well. But also we like to celebrate those businesses that do a little extra in the community, and that might be sponsoring school activities or town events or just giving back in lots of the many, many ways that our businesses do that. So this month we would like to recognize 50 South. And I don't know, is Rocky here? Oh, no. So congratulations to 50 South. Where's this cutie pie? Would you like to tell everyone a little bit about 50 South? Sure. Tell us all about it.
We're 50 South, been around since 2011 or so. Kind of doing our thing on the island. This is Florida.
No.
I really appreciate all the the warm years, and hope for many more.
Well, we certainly appreciate everything you do in the community, and a big part of what they do is every Monday morning, the beach sweeps for the Longboard Association. So if you don't have anything fun to do on Monday morning at 8 o'clock, show up either by 50 South or by the pier, and they'll put you to work picking up the beach. Great. Thank you so much. The second thing we award each month is for our Home of the Month. And again, this is typically it's done for recognition of the exterior of your home, what you do in your yard, whether it's professionally landscaped or beautifully natural plantings and just kept neat and tidy. During the holidays, we like to try to pick out some beautifully decorated holiday homes. But this month, we would like to present the award to 502 Trellis Road, which is the Melvin Sloan family. And are you here?
So it is April Fool's because you guys are funny. Okay? Have you seen my house? Thank you.
You're welcome. So if anybody's interested in nominating your neighbor or one of your favorite local businesses, you can reach out to Carla, the town clerk, and you can find that information on the town's website under beautification and enhancement. Thank you.
Thank you for singing.
All right, next we have the adoption of the agenda. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries to adopt the agenda. Next is the approval of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries to approve the consent agenda. Next up on our list is public comments. The citizens have an opportunity to address the council for no more than 3 minutes per speaker on topics which concern agenda items of this meeting. I would like for you to, at this time, Carla's going to call out the names that have signed up for public comment. I think there were 2 different lists tonight, one for public comment and maybe one for the public hearing.
So public comment, Sandy Monroe.
Should have just stayed up here, I guess. I wanted to, this is sort of circling back into the beautification issues or things that we're working on with the beautification committee. And I just wanted to mention that the surfboard statues are, sales are underway. So you can also find out more information about that on the town's website, or you can speak with one of the beautification enhancement committee members to find out a little bit more. But you may see some folks stopping into your business to let you know about that. I also wanted to mention April 12th is the Clean Up Your Street sweep, and there will be some more information about this on social media to give you a little more details. But basically, you'll just join us in spirit and clean up your own neighborhood and in front of your own homes, and maybe take a photo and tag us and load it online. And it's in conjunction with the Department of Transportation, correct? And again, if you would like to nominate a business or home of the month, just reach out to Carla through the town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Larry Rice.
Good afternoon. My name is Larry Rice. I live at 712 Cockle Street. I'm going to bring up a subject that I brought up last time I was in front of council, and that is a public safety issue on J.H. Batts Road, Royal Palm, Driftwood, and the neighborhoods that surround that. I have been given some information by staff about the sidewalks that are to be put in by D.R. Horton as a portion of their ability to be able to build waterside. They're about done, and I think it's about time that they move forward on something that is going to be a sidewalk that will get us at least to the community building. Once we get to the community building, there is no provisions at this point for somebody to get to the new park that we've got other than walking on the road or walking in the grass. There are a lot of children that are accessing J.H. Batts Road that are going to the skate park and going to the park itself. And it's getting really dangerous, and we haven't even gotten into our season yet. So I anticipate us having some issues with that aspect of it. I think some decrease of speed limit on J.H. Batts Road is appropriate. I think some signage is appropriate. Also on Driftwood Drive, which has recently been repaved, it is now a racetrack. And some signage there is definitely in order. There's just a tremendous amount of foot traffic that is in that area, and I think it's very important that we address these and hold the appropriate people accountable to what they have been tasked to do. So I wish someone would follow up on that. And thank you guys for providing the information that you did.
Absolutely. Thank you. We did last week reach out to DOT and requested that stop signs be placed at Cockle and Driftwood and Shell and Driftwood and Conk and Driftwood, just like kind of like inside the S curve, how the stop signs are placed to hopefully slow down that speed on that road. Yes. Okay, that's it. All right. All right, moving forward. The next item is public hearing, special use permit for 412 Roland Avenue. And I am going to call upon our attorney, Brett DeSelms, to kick us off here.
Yes, Madam Mayor. As the board has all received, there's a March 20, 2025 letter from the applicant seeking to defer this matter from today's date to May 6th. In addition to the reasons stated for in the letter, the applicant informs me that they have a meeting scheduled with the public that's going to occur on Monday of next week at 3:30 p.m. to discuss the plans and the modifications they made, and they would like an opportunity to discuss that with the public prior to proceeding. In light of the fact that I assume a lot of the people here tonight are here for that matter, I thought it'd be appropriate for the board to vote first as to whether to move forward tonight with the public hearing in consideration of the item, or to defer it rather than wait till the end when all these people have already spoken. So I think it'd be appropriate, Madam Mayor, if you see fit, to have a motion as to whether to continue the matter to May 6th or to proceed forward tonight.
Okay. So that would be, I would follow your recommendation there, and ask for a motion either to move forward tonight or to postpone it another month.
I'd like to make a motion to proceed tonight with the request for the use of special use permit.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries to move forward with the special use permit tonight.
Okay, Madam Mayor, the next is going to be the public hearing. Before we enter in the public hearing, anybody that would like to testify tonight, they have to be sworn. So Madam Clerk's ready to swear those people in. If they could stand up and raise their right hand, she can swear them in.
This would be anyone that wants to stand up and speak tonight. You're asked to stand up and raise your right hand, be sworn in.
Do you swear that the evidence you shall give to the council in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Madam Mayor, at this time it'd be appropriate to open the public hearing.
Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to open public hearing.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries to open the public hearing.
Good afternoon. I'm Ty Hopkins. So I'm one of the owners of 412 Roland. I own it with my brother and my sister. My brother's Luke is here. My sister's not able to be here tonight. I guess I'm going to start with actually why we asked for to defer the decision until next month. And really because we just are trying, it's about information. And so we have new information that we want to present. We can present that tonight. We just haven't had time to get all that together because we really haven't had time to do the community engagement that we wanted to do. It turns out people care about this a whole lot more than I expected. That's a mistake on my part, but what I want to do is meet with the community and find out, okay, what do you want us to do differently? How can we satisfy your thoughts on this? So we want a chance to do that. That's why we asked to defer it. So we're trying to present information. We've changed the plan a lot, actually, since the December presentation that Taylor Parker did, and we want to show that to people and say, hey, what do you think of this? We heard what you said about such and such, we're trying to adjust to it. We heard what you said about such and such, we're trying to adjust to it, trying to make things better. So we're trying to present more information, get more information, and get some community engagement so that we can end up at a great thing for Surf City rather than something that people are upset about, because we don't want people to be upset about it. Like, for instance, it was actually a surprise to me that people care about the fuel dock. I was surprised. I was surprised, and I'm a boat owner, and I love to be able to get gas, but just try owning one. So there's just things that we didn't know that we would love to engage with the community about. And so we wanted to defer till next month so that we could do that and then have our full team here to present what we're trying to do. That said, my brother is here. He can present. Dave Anderson is the chief engineer for the project. He's got a presentation he'd like to show you guys on how we're changing the plan. And we have other people from the team that would like to comment as well. And we would love to answer questions. Do you guys have any questions for me before I sit down?
No questions from that. You have to come up to the podium and speak and state your name and address and have been sworn in to talk at the podium during public hearing.
We don't know where it's going to be yet because honestly I think it's going to be bigger than I was anticipating. I thought just a few people would come, and now it turns out that a lot of people are interested in this. So maybe we can find a place in this building. I don't know. I don't know where yet, but it's scheduled for 3:30 on next Monday. So we would love to talk.
Absolutely.
Mr. Hopkins, just wanted real quick, so we're on the same page here. There's two reasons why I didn't want to wait. First of all, how many? Can I have a show of hands if you showed up tonight over the interest of this? Okay, so that's number one.
Great.
Okay, so number one, please, it's respect to this community that showed up here. Number two is that there has been 4 months since the first presentation. So I feel 4 months is adequate. I think you're a super sharp guy. I love your prop, love everything about what you do. However, we have given you 4 months up to this point in time. And I think that's more than adequate time. So that was why I made the decision. I'm sure I'm not speaking for this council, but I'm sure that they have some of the same sentiments. So that was why I just want to make sure you know that's why we made that decision to do that.
Yeah, I think a month ago we had this realization, there's more that we need to do. And we just had this realization, we should ask for more time. We want to do this well. Right. Yeah, I think honestly just kind of the holidays and people getting sick caught up with us. So.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, that was it.
You have a slide presentation?
Mr. Anderson does.
Okay. Sean's going to start? Okay. Come on up, Sean.
I was going to present from the town's perspective and then let Dave present all the changes that they've made after. That's all right. So the first item on the agenda is a continuance of an amendment to a current special use permit at 412 Roland Avenue. It was originally heard here on December 12th of last year. The applicant's initial request was for the permit to be modified to include 3 dry storage structures. Each structure would be a maximum of 48 feet tall and house 108 boats for a total of 324 storage units. The proposed restaurant on the site plan is a by right use and does not require a special use permit. Since this first meeting, the applicant has uploaded a new design concept and addressed 6 separate concerns in their new submittal, explained in greater detail in your supplemental documents. Just to go over the 6 that they have addressed, and Dave can elaborate on all of those. He has that in his presentation. The first were concerns about channel traffic. The second was the fuel service on the site. The third, the proximity of operations to adjacent properties. 4 was building aesthetics and architecture. 5 was inadequate parking, and 6 was providing notification to adjacent property owners. So if the special use permit is approved today, the applicant will begin the site's engineering and permitting. The site will require state and federal permits, including but not limited to CAMA, NCDEQ, and NCDOT. The site will also be reviewed by staff, planning board, and town council to ensure that all town ordinances, including architectural standards, are met prior to construction. And as I mentioned, Dave is here today, and he can further elaborate on the adjustments that they have made. Yeah, also.
So is that the clicker?
Chris, if you want to switch it over.
Okay.
I want to get yours on there.
Getting old, I need my glasses. Does that work?
So, yeah, when it gets up here, you're just going to click down and go to the next slide.
Okay.
It'll be on there. That's weird. Down is next.
And so is that a, can you set that up as the, oh, he's done it.
He's got it right there.
that.
Yeah, so just
Perfect.
click down.
Perfect. Hello, members of council. My name's Dave Anderson. I'm pleased to be here today. I was surprised to be here. About 5 hours ago, I was north of Richmond, Virginia, expecting, and I want to explain a little bit about this deferment, why I was north of Richmond. I've been in the business with Timmons Group doing engineering, planning. I'm an AICP as well as a PE, and also 7 years in full-time land development. I've been in it for 35 years, and for the vast majority of that time, I've been into entitlements, special use plans, getting things in position to be developed along with actually developing them. So when I gave guidance to my client that a deferment was likely, it's usually because in the past, localities have given deference, and I do appreciate Mr. Shugarts, your comment about the time that's been taken. But my reference to them was basically that when a developer is seeking more community input, more transparency, more time to share changes that have been made from a previous public hearing, I've actually never seen that rejected. I have seen developers get frustrated when localities want to defer. I see that all the time. But this is sort of the opposite of that. And what I'm going to do, since the deferment has been already discussed and or voted on by you from our request, I do want to remind you after this discussion and public hearing that it is certainly our desire that you may come to the conclusion that the best public policy and the best public approach would be to listen to both sides and allow us to continue our conversations with these changes. We've noticed social media, we've noticed a lot of outbursts, and people who are not in the know are going to be concerned and worried. That's why I think you have a full house here today. But candidly, there was several posts that included old maps and did not include what it is that we're bringing forward, having listened to the folks who spoke in the December meeting. So our goal was to defer so that we could continue on in a very public process. I've always appreciated, as a planner, the desire and the need that the locality has to make sure that the best decisions are made. That includes not putting the wrong things in the wrong place. That also means good economic development. That means making sure that the environment is taken care of. So I get all of those things and appreciate them. My hope is that this won't feel today like a hurried event that we have to get to the end and to a vote, even as you see us making changes to this site, which I think are very valuable to this locality. So with that said, I'm just going to start, as Sean mentioned. This was the plan. In fact, this is the plan that I've seen a lot circulated around about the concerns, and this was the December plan. And I wanted to share here what we heard in December so that we can go through each one of them specifically. Traffic concerns, fuel service concerns, proximity to adjacent property, felt like it was very close to the adjacent property. Building aesthetics, we came forward. I actually was excited about doing sort of a community-minded engagement about how to make the facade of this a town thing, and recommended that. I think that fell somewhat flat, but it was something with the best intentions in mind. So building aesthetics were a concern by some of you. Parking was a concern, and a notification to neighbors. So with that, I just want to go through and share with you, this is what we heard, and I want to share, it may on the screen to the people here in the audience, it may be a little bit hard to see. With as many people that are here, I would, if you need to crowd around, I don't know. But I want to share with you, there's a difference. I'm going to toggle back and forth on this to show some of the changes here, which address in part each one of the elements. And there's going to be a detail of each one of those as we go through. So hopefully people can see that here. On the theme of sharing this new information of our design is to let you see in real time sort of what we had, how we listened, and what the changes have resulted in. So if you see here, basically, the one of the concerns that we had, let me go back up here and make sure that I got, so you can see physical barriers to reduce traffic conflicts. There was a concern about boating traffic, the interaction and the concern about traffic. So if we zoom in a little bit, one of the things rightly concerning is people will pull up right to a restaurant, they'll hop out, and then they'll take up that space, and that creates a little bit more congestion. It was a reasonable comment that we heard. One of the things that you can see on the right side is that with this concept, and I want to stress, if and when a restaurant is put in. This is just asking for permission to put one in. We don't have a name of a restaurateur. We don't have a game plan for that. If one is put in, then it will not be accessible. It will not have a dock. That docking will be eliminated from all sides. You can see a little bit on the right. You can see the U-shaped dock that remains. That would be accessible only to the dry storage facility. Clearly, signage and wayfinding can help with that as well. So what we feel is that we've reduced or eliminated this concern about additional traffic because people coming to hang out at the restaurant, taking up valuable dock space. New concept, basically, the location basically for fuel. We're just, what we're trying to identify here is whether it's on site, whether there are trucks used. We are planning and we're intending to keep this completely apart from public view, public access and so forth. Part of that, making sure that there's no noxious concerns around. Increased landscape. One of the big feedback loops that we got from a lot of the yacht club members was how close we were, and you can see on the left, we were actually, our put-in, if you will, our put-in for the boats at the dry dock was immediately adjacent. Now, it was just us planning and not thinking through what the other side of the fence was looking at. After thinking this through, we moved it as far as we possibly can away from, so that activity of moving the boats into the water and out of the water are as far as possible from it. So it's actually further than the launching points that are already in use from the location of the pond, of the docks. The other one to enhance and create an aesthetic for the town, people who will never use the dry stacks, but to create something that from the bridge in is a beautiful thing. Architecture can do a lot of things. For example, this is a technique that's employed a lot by hospitals that might be 4 or 6 stories. They instead make it look like 2 or 3 by oversizing windows and so forth. So what you're seeing here is the full height. You can see the existing dry docks, dry stacks in the distance. Architecture can create a wonderful aesthetic as you enter in here that makes it look like it's a part of the community. We're not looking at the billboard that we showed before, but we did hear that was a concern. And again, schematically and conceptually, our goal was to get more feedback and more input from the community on what appearance and what aesthetic matters the most. The other one here is more parking. You can see here one of the configurations. Again, I will reiterate, if a restaurant goes in, not necessarily when. We're asking for permission for a restaurant, not that we have that as a phase 1. We've reconfigured that restaurant basically to show that we would have much more parking located for the public and for the users. And then basically, I will end the presentation. Again, this presentation, you're seeing a glimpse of what we wanted to share with all these people here, assuming that there was going to be a deferral so that we could continue getting feedback, discussing it, massaging the plan, and identifying more opportunities for this to work well. So we have a scheduled community meeting. I had also suggested that depending on the interest of that and the location of yacht club owners, wherever their address is, they may not be local, but they may have an interest in this project, is that following up on the Monday on the Monday meeting, that we would have a similar virtual meeting that can allow anybody anywhere in the country to come in and see the exact same presentation that we make here locally. So my point is, and again, I'll close with this, is that our goal today was to defer and to meet with these people and to meet with you. I know we're limited in our ability to speak with you because of the quasi-judicial process of North Carolina. I'm saddened by that because I think more communication is better. But our goal is to continue this communication, and I'll reiterate, I may be wrong on the rules, but you do have the ability to defer this to allow for this to continue on, and I hope that will happen. I will turn it back to you. I don't know if you have anybody else you want to speak who raised their hand.
What's your last name? I'm sorry.
Dave Anderson.
Mr. Anderson,
yes,
a couple
sir.
things real quick. So
Yes, sir.
I'm going to be a little tough for a moment, if you don't mind, okay?
Be a
I'm gonna be a
what?
little tough for a moment, then we'll get back to being soft here, if you don't mind, okay?
That's-
So you've
that's
talked
fine.
about a hurried event, okay? So first of all, this council doesn't do hurried events, okay? We hear both sides all the time. I want to make sure you've mentioned that, okay? It's unsettling for me because I don't have Facebook or social media. I have no idea what the hell's been said on social media or Facebook. I don't have it because I'm a politician, and I'm either loved or hated, majorly hated, okay? So, see, they're laughing because they agree, okay? So at the end of the day, the lady that was here, she was a train wreck. And I actually bailed her out by saying, hey, can you defer this till next month, table this to a month? So I feel like you keep bringing the word defer. We're not deferring this. So let's not discuss the word deferment anymore. Let's talk about your case, if you could please, okay? Because you keep saying, well, we should defer this. We could defer this. We're not deferring it. We're going to talk about it. And then I would hope this council would make a decision on that tonight, okay, based on the facts that you present either way. Okay, so I didn't come here with a closed mind. I came here because I wanted to hear how great this was from your viewpoint. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that, if you don't mind. Okay. So those little trigger points really upset me. I have kind of a temper when it comes to that stuff, and things aren't hurried with me. I want to make sure. I would say 4 months is not a hurry. Remember that. I'm not here on defense. I'm here on offense. 4 months is not a hurry. So if you could please just give us your side of things, that'd be great.
I just want to follow up that this board, it would take all of us again to, if we wanted to, if everyone wanted to speak out and defer, we would all speak out. And if it wanted to be deferred, we could all speak out and do that at this time. One person does not carry that vote.
Correct.
So I would look right now to each council person and ask them if they want to defer it. Hugh Cannady.
I would like to proceed.
Trudy Solomon. Proceed. Jeremy.
Proceed.
John.
Proceed.
And Alicia. Proceed. Okay, looks like we're proceeding.
No, I appreciate that.
And I personally, I understand that, hey, 4 months is not a lot of time to get together all the information and do a complete study, because we as the government know how slow studies can be. So I would like to mention that. I think that, seeing that you did send the email in on March 12th or March 20th, and just getting notice this morning and getting a call from the town stating that you're in Richmond, you need to be here in 6 hours, I apologize. So I don't think any of us knew that this was going to happen today. So. Did I misunderstand what you just said? You just received the letter today? You got the letter? No. Okay. We did receive it,
Got it.
the email on March, I think it was 20th.
Okay.
So, but it was just this morning that I think there was something stated that, hey, we want to go ahead and hear this today. So.
Yeah, and my goal was never to offend anyone. My goal was to share that public policy is important, and usually where bodies get really frustrated is when a developer, an applicant, defers and defers and defers and defers. We've made substantive changes, some significant changes actually, that took some time to get done. So I apologize for whatever offense there was in my language. I was surprised that one shot and our goal is to be transparent, meet with the community, and that remains my hope. That's the way I said it, and that's the way I meant it.
I expected you to get that done up till now is what I expect. Does that make sense
It
to you?
took a good part through almost the beginning of March to get the designs finalized. So
I need to say something. I apologize.
Yeah.
Not to belittle or diminish anything you said. I took no offense to anything you made in your presentation. I thought it was professional. I had no keywords triggered me that I thought you were challenging what we were doing. I need to get that out there. I think you've done a great job in a professional manner. I was a little discouraged that I thought we were getting ready to continue it. It had been 4 months. I felt like I was prepared to vote on it the first time. And it was kind of like a given, all right, this isn't going the way anybody wants, so let's move it 4 months. Anyway, but we are where we are. I just need you to know I took nothing offensive or made the hair on the back of my neck swell up on anything you said tonight. I think you've been very
Former State
professional.
Patrol, nothing makes him get just upset.
Well,
That's
that
for
may
sure.
be or
Yeah,
may
yeah,
not
for
be
sure.
true, but I needed you to hear me say that.
Mr. Dave Vanderson, now's your chance to give it your best shot.
to give it my best shot.
Yep, bring it on.
I have basically shared the information that we think
Anybody else
is
like
most
to step
valuable.
forward?
I know that from there were questions about fueling. Ty, I don't know whether Brian wanted to speak to anything about that or whether or not we just wanted to. Let me ask you this. After the public hearing, does the applicant here typically get an opportunity to respond to the comments made? A lot of jurisdictions do that.
Yes, that's allowed.
Okay. So would love to be able to do that after the public hearing. So.
Okay.
Ty, did you have anyone else?
Real quick, and then I'm gonna let my brother go, if that's okay. I just want to say, like, we can talk about boat traffic. If people want to talk about boat traffic, we're prepared to do that. But if that's not what people are interested in talking about, I don't want to waste your time with that. So we got somebody here to talk about that. We can talk about
Traffic is one of my
how boats-
questions.
Okay, we got so there's actually a buyer for this property now, which wasn't true in December. That's another big piece of information. So a lot has happened. And that's part of why it just took a while, because we had to kind of get the buyer involved. Okay, what do you want for the special use permit? You're the person who's actually going to own and operate this thing. It's actually Jason, who owns the Sloop Point dry stack. He is on his way here. He's not here yet. He was also surprised that we were talking about this tonight, so he's trying as hard as he can to get here. It'd be great if he could talk when he does get here. But Brian Thurston, who's the manager of that place, is here, and he can talk about boat traffic. He can also talk about how they do boat fueling there, which is done by truck. That's actually kind of become quite standard in a lot of dry stacks. Is they actually just bring trucks in and they fuel directly from the truck to the boat, just kind of like you pump fuel into a car from a tank. It's sort of the same kind of thing. And a lot of people think that's actually a lot more environmentally friendly and safer because it's not over the water and you have professionals doing it. You know, these are guys who move fuel for a living all day long every day. They know how to do it. So we can talk, Brian can talk about how they do that there as well. And on the restaurant issue, honestly, the only reason that the restaurant is in there is because when I talked to people, just like people I ran into in Surf City about this, was everybody's like, man, I just wish there was a place to eat on the water. So that's in there just because people kept saying we'd love to have, for there to be a restaurant on the water. So I said, well, let's put that in there. People will love that. It wasn't because we're like, oh, we got to, it wasn't because that's going to be the best money-making thing or, we're trying to replace the fuel dock. If the fuel dock has to stay, then, I mean, it can stay. We're actually flexible on that. We're trying to actually provide for the community what the community wants. And so we want to talk about that stuff. So I'm going to let my brother go ahead, and we can get Mr. Thurston up here to talk about boats and what it does with traffic. And, of course, they've got a congested spot down there because they're right next to the big Sloop Point boat ramp, so they actually probably have more traffic than we would have because that's got 260 spots to park boat trailers in addition to what they got going on. And then there's a couple other people too. So I'm going to let my brother, Luke Hopkins, go next. Anybody got a question for me before I sit down?
No, sir. I don't.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Luke Hopkins. My brother, my sister, and I have owned this property since roughly 2014. It was resurrected then. It had a non-working fuel dispensary. It wasn't working at the time, so we got that back working for use, and we've had it working since then. The fuel dispensary aspect of this, whether this is voted for or against today, the fuel dispensary aspect is not what's being voted on here today. It's really like whether a dry stack makes sense on this property and whether it's in line with the long-term plan of Surf City. As owners of the property, we're trying to actually develop to the long-term plan of Surf City. A dry stack on this property is actually in the long-term plan that has been like brain exercise for quite some time and executed for the town to develop. So we're building what the town has decided as a use for this property. And if there is a dry stack there to store boats, that would also lean heavily to keeping the fuel dispensary as well. But without like those things in place, the fuel dispensary makes actually less sense. And so I'm just kind of putting it out there that like we're here to decide on whether a dry stack makes sense, and it is in the long-term plan. And as far as traffic on roads, traffic on the water, it fluctuates all the time. With fuel dispensing on the water, there's a lot of waiting in your boat, kind of jockeying around, waiting to get fuel. Without the fuel dispensary in place, it would be a reduction of that kind of behavior. I'm not going to tell you it's going to fix traffic. I'm not a traffic expert, and I'm not an appraiser that can speak to if there's a dry stack on this property, would it diminish the value of other dry stack owners next door? I'm not an expert on that. I don't know if there's anyone here that is an expert appraiser that could speak to that. So in the last meeting, when that was spoke on, they weren't appraisers. They weren't experts on appraising the value of dry stacks or any property. If you have a development like a dry stack next door or like a D.R. Horton development that was just discussed earlier, and you have another parcel next door that wants to by right or not by right, but wants to build homes, everyone here could say building more homes is going to affect the property value of my home here. That does not stand to decide whether a property should be developed for homes. If we had that situation like across the country, we'd have a much larger housing crisis. As an owner of this property for the last 10 years, we have a huge demand for people wanting to store boats, for boat slips. We don't have enough boat slips here. This is a solution to the problem. The same goes next door. There's no place to put boats. And over the last 10 years, we've had trailers historically all over the property. When we first purchased the property, there was trailers parked on the property. Boat trailers, boat storage, it's been a need the entire ownership of this property. And right now, we are literally trying to do what the town has a long-term plan and has outlined for what this property could be as options. And this is like part of what the town of Surf City has planned for this property as an option for boat storage. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I just want to make one comment. Our master land use plan was approved prior to several council members being on this council. So while that is a plan as a whole, we haven't had an opportunity to go in and maybe revise that to what we see in our minds might be good. So I just want to let you know that, just keep that in mind, that it is a plan and it is what's current and working order for us, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all of us have had an opportunity to put our hands in it too.
I totally agree, but you're indicating it's a fairly new plan, and that's what it is. It's a fairly new plan. This isn't a plan we're operating on that was generated 20 years ago. This is actually the most recent plan. And this property actually was originally part of a bigger development that included the dry stacks next door. Over a dozen years ago, this was planned to be like some boat storage on this property, and that's why the docks are there, and that's why the fuel dispensary was there, because it was a marina-based property originally, and it's been operated like that since. And we're really trying to just keep migrating to a best use scenario that provides a resource that is in high demand. Even since the pandemic, there's like a much higher demand for places to put boats, places to put all those things.
One thing that the mayor has tried to ingrain in my mind the last 7 years here is that health, safety, and welfare of our community is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
I still struggle with the safety aspect of congestion in a narrow canal. I do. And it's very difficult for any one person, unless you have driven a boat in there or been in there, to see, you know, and no disrespect to the engineer, like, once again, and I'm Mr. Cannady here, you didn't upset me, but there's things that, you know, we do not rush in this council. We make solid decisions. And you know, this safety issue is always going to be a safety issue for me. And no matter how you slice and dice this, you know, if we had a professional company come in and do a safety analysis on the impact of this, I haven't seen one. And I would figure that would be something that you would have provided. And that was something that we also asked the last lady here, the lady that was here in December, wasn't it? Taylor. She was super nice, but you know, we said, hey, I don't want to, no disrespect, the guy from Sloop Point's great, okay, but this is Surf City, and this is a canal in Surf City that is dangerous to navigate as is. So for me, that's still the answer. I haven't seen anything to validate why.
I understand.
We're trying to provide that. We just haven't had time to get that together. It takes a while to find an expert on that and for them to have time to generate that report. Like, that's one of the main things hoping to present next month. We just haven't had a chance to get it together yet.
I'm not going to argue that we don't need boat storage and all those things, for sure. I get that. And with the population and the amount of people getting boats and all that, you know, that particular area is a row of businesses and homes getting into that same area. So it's a safety issue for me too.
Yeah. You know, you're making a really good point. We've owned this property, like I said, 10 years. And it's actually historically had extremely large boats in there. We have boat slips that are 45 feet long and boats that are 60 feet long when they go into that slip. So that canal has housed some incredibly large boats and some very challenging situations. And it has a fairly old dock that is in great condition, because everything is worked out fairly smooth. The dock is like living proof that on some level that the boating community has like navigated pretty well in that canal. 45-foot boats, a whole row of them. That's been going on for quite some time. Now we've actually migrated towards what the greater community would want. And so we're trying to provide slips that have much smaller boats. Much smaller boats are a lot easier to navigate in that canal than what those current boat slips are designed for. They're designed for giant yachts.
I have something. You know, I can appreciate that those size boats have been in that canal and they've gone in and gone out. This situation is when you have the dry stacks and on a weekend or Saturday you put 15 boats into the water. Okay, when you bring these big boats in, they're coming in one at a time. Now, if you get a situation, this is just hypothetical, get a situation, a thunderstorm kicks up and you've got 15 boats out there, and the person's first knowledge is, I got to head for land, let's just take the boat back. Now you're going to have 15 boats coming through that canal, and unless you're going to put a traffic marine person out there, how are you going to control that short canal to accommodate all those boats? And how are you going to get them out of the water in a reasonable amount of time?
Can I add a layer to that, John?
Huh?
I 100% agree with you, but I'd like to add an extra layer to that. I think you're underestimating 15. When we were here,
Being nice.
No, I know you were. That's why I said I want to make sure. When we were here with the last meeting, the young lady, not the young lady, but the gentleman at the Topsail Yacht Club mentioned on a solid weekend, Saturday, they're going to drop 60 boats on a busy weekend. And what we're proposing is 1.5 times larger. So that math would be 90 boats. So you're looking at 150 boats instead of 15 going out during the day. And my personal experience and knowledge of living here is in July and August, around 4 o'clock, there's gonna be a thunderstorm and they get to do let's go and we're gonna get back to the docks. And we're not talking about 15 boats, we're talking about 150 boats, potentially on an isolated day with, I don't know how many boat slips you have, but you probably got 2 lifts, plus you got people's place where he's renting boats, you got the jet ski guy renting boats and or some other stuff there that I envision chaos. It'll look like a Caddyshack movie.
Well, I mean, I fully understand. Like, I just parked out in the lawn out by the street because there's no place to park in the parking lot.
I agree.
I think when we all leave here, we should be careful driving because it's all going to happen in about 10 minutes. We're talking about 60 boats in an entire day. And here we're talking about 60 cars in 10 minutes.
Yeah, but
I think that there's I think all of us can probably exit this parking lot effectively without getting in a car accident. And I'm just using this as an analogy that, like, as a community, we're going to work together to get out of this parking lot today. And I think it's something that, as a community, in a boating community, we can navigate together. And accidents do happen. That's the world we live in. Like, that's why we all got boating insurance for our boats, and we have insurance on our cars. So,
Hey, let's keep your comments to yourself. As far as in the audience, please respect the presenter.
No, you're allowed to speak. She was trying to get the crowd to sit. Okay.
Finish and then I'll go ahead.
So, I'm just speaking to the challenges of the world we live in every day. And the boating community is going to have their challenges, whether it's you're putting boats in at the boat ramp because there isn't dry storage, or whether you're leaving this parking lot at the end of this meeting. There's challenges at every turn. We're trying to provide a resource that actually would remove some of the challenges that potentially the boat ramp and place boats in dry storage. But with that said, like the canal over there by the boat ramp will probably have less traffic if there's traffic in the dry storage canal by our property.
I'd like to share one more thought. And you mentioned earlier that this was a use in the comprehensive use plan, but it's a special permit use. It's not a by right use, or we wouldn't even be here.
Right.
So, is it in the long-term plan? Yes. Why? In my opinion, why is it in the long-term plan? It's because it's where dirt meets water, where it's deep water. So if you were going to have a boat, you want it to, where dirt touches water, and you want it to be deep water. So yeah, it qualifies for that. But is it the most ideal place? No, it's just the only place. So I think as a council, I don't want to speak for everybody, for myself. When I look at projects, whether it's yours or somebody else, is this bringing solutions or is this bringing problems? So not that I've determined yet which yours is, but this is what I'm trying to weigh out. Yes, it's a boat slip. There is a boat, or there is a dry stack there. It's a narrow channel. Is creating problems, or is it creating solutions? So just keep that in mind, just so you'll know at least where I'm coming from.
I want to just piggyback also too. So the bulk of this project also, which is waterfront, it is the bulk of your project, which is waterfront. Now talking about potential restaurant, right? Mm-hmm. It is a bit injurious to our downtown waterfront ITC plan.
Island Town Center.
Island Town Center, I'm sorry, yeah. Okay, so it is a bit injurious to that. It really is, because it would be different if 1/3 or 1/4 was what we were looking at. But it's probably 80% of the waterfront is going to be taken with that, which is, so it does present some sort of an issue looking at this process. Okay, so it's not, I know you says you're trying, I know you're trying to solve a problem, and I get it, 100%. And you guys are generous people, and you've been kind, and people park on your property. It's been very nice. So don't think that everybody doesn't know that. You guys are great people. But, we have to look at those facets additionally, too. So, and that's something that really is hit me hard here. And that's to your point as far as that bulk of that being waterfront is those slips. So.
Can I speak to the safety issue for a minute?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we actually wanted to have like a certified boating safety expert here who was not me, right? Like, it's better to have a third-party testimony than me testifying, right? We weren't able to get that together in time. We've actually been asking people, and I will say in the conversations that I've had with professionals, they actually did agree with me that it doesn't create a hazard to navigation. So I'll just tell you my boating safety thing. So I actually used to have a public vessel operator's license in the state of New York, which licensed you to drive a ferry boat up to, I think, 50 tons. I had that for like 10 years. This was a long time ago, but I did drive a boat professionally 4 years. And then I also had in the U.S. Merchant Marine a deck officer's warrant, which meant I was allowed to navigate big ships. So I've been around boats and ships and marinas, and I ran a marina. I've been around boats and ships and maritime navigation and safety my whole life. I've been around this marina a lot because I've owned it for 10 years. I've never actually operated it. I've always hired somebody else to operate it, but I visit it all the time. Mr. Thurston can tell you about the sloop point operations, which is a very typical dry stack for what it's worth. I can see it from my house across the sound. I watch it all the time. But the point is, they can only put in about 15 boats an hour, which is really only one every 4 minutes. And a boat going through that narrow channel going 6 miles an hour, because it's actually not technically, I think, legally a no-wake zone at this point, but everybody treats it as it is, and they should. So whether it is not legally or not at this point, it is a de facto no-wake zone, and that's a good thing. So you basically have one boat every 4 minutes going 5 or 6 miles an hour, which is pretty slow, which is why we don't actually have much in the way of collisions in there. And I really honestly don't think that we would. Now, admittedly, when a thunderstorm happens, everybody runs for cover, right? We've got that situation now. What I think would happen in our channel there is actually the same thing that happens at the public boat launch, the Surf City one, right on the other side of the peninsula, like literally 200 yards away, where 60 people they've all got their boats in the water, right? That's because they're not allowed to park there overnight. Like all 60 of those trailers on the weekend have got their boat in the water. They all come and running back there at the same time. And you can ask the public safety guys, like, are we having major accidents because of that? No. And the reason is people actually do treat it like a no-wake zone. They keep their distance from each other. We get wet, but that's not the end of the world. That's kind of part of boating. And the truth is you don't have to yank all the boats out when they come back either, right? Like the safety thing is the people need to get out of the boats. So you dock the boats and you can take your time getting them out of the water. Boats are more or less waterproof, right? They can get rained in plenty. So it's actually a handy way to deal with what's going to happen anyway, which is all the people on the water run for cover. The other thing is, to some degree, people coming all the way in there is a little bit of a convenience thing, because the truth is, once they've gotten that far up into Topsail Sound and they're basically in that no-wake zone part of the ICW that's kind of under the bridge, everybody picture what I'm talking about? Like, you're safe there. Like, you're not going to get swamped by big waves. There's ways to get into shallow water. So even if you're taking on water, it's really easy to get into shallow water, nose up into the grass. Your boat's not going to go down. People are going to be able to get out of it if they need to. So I don't think it actually creates any situation that we don't have already, which is thunderstorms happen. Topsail Sound is full of people, which is great and wonderful. I love it. But it does create thunderstorms happen and everybody runs for cover. Yeah, that happens. It happens already. And it hasn't been a catastrophic problem so far. I don't think this adds to it. I think it might actually even make it slightly better, because it creates a place where those people can park their boat and just get out. And it's left with professionals who are like, yeah, we'll get your boat out of your water out for you. Like, even if it takes us 4 hours, we'll get it out for you later. Because that doesn't happen now. Like, you can't go back to the boat ramp and like get out of your boat and just leave it for the pros to take out for you. You're kind of stuck in it until. That's got to be pretty rough, actually, when there's a thunderstorm and you're trying to go to the public boat ramp. The same thing happens at Sloop Point boat ramp. It's actually worse, because that place has a huge parking lot, and a lot of Wilmington people are putting their boats in there. So my honest opinion on the safety thing is it's not a catastrophe. And honestly, I really am a boat expert. I've been around it all my life. I've gotten pretty high certifications in it. I don't actually have them anymore, in full disclosure, but you can look up, I had them in the past, and I had them for years and years.
I think, Mr. Hopkins, I think that we don't have a lot of issues in there partially because we protect that canal, this town. And this council protects that canal is so important. And so therefore we don't want to have issues. That's why we're having this conversation. That's why we do this process, so we don't have these issues. So one issue is not a good issue. So I'm not willing for one issue. And that's, somebody runs it aground, that's a problem for me. You know, if somebody hits another boat or another jet ski or something, that's a problem for me. I don't want to see that process.
The good news is when people are going 5 miles an hour, people tend to not get hurt. It's just boats bumping into each other. I don't think that we want boats bumping into each other, but it doesn't really happen now. But the good news is when boats are going that slow, they're not real unsafe.
I have a question, and it might be a Sean question, or maybe Kyle can answer, but I know we have at least one other restaurant on the canal that's getting ready to open. Do we have other commercial properties that are already approved to go in there that are going to increase traffic as well on top of this project? Sorry.
Sean Olds, planner. We do not.
Okay.
Yes. I have a question. Okay, so as long as we're floating, I wanted him to hear this, but floating scenarios back and forth, the width of the area that goes to Soundside Park as far as boat access in and out, I believe is a lot wider than this canal. And that's what the safety aspect keeps ringing to me. I don't think too many people that have boats worry about getting wet on a boat. My thought is lightning. You know, you're trying to, you know, I was always told if you're in a thunderstorm and you're on a boat, get to land as soon as you can. Lightning is the main cause, not water. If I get rained on, heck, if you're riding your boat real fast, you're going to get wet. You know, I don't think the water is an issue, but the size of the space and what you have at Soundside Park, when you have 60 boats, that's what you have, 60 boats. This place is going to have a hell of a lot more than 60 boats. So there's a potential for more people to come to this area, which may not be, I'm not definitely sure, it may not be as wide and opening as Soundside Park's area, where you can come in and you can tie up and you can get out of your boat and have it tied until storm passes, you can get out. But this, you're going to get people coming in there, and you have docks to tie them up in, but how many boats can you accommodate on the docks that are presently there? Could you accommodate 60 boats on the docks that you have?
Pretty close.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I've been down there. I can't see it safely how you could tie 60 boats up.
But like in an emergency, you can tie boats up next to each other.
I'm kind of tired of us going back and beating this dead horse with scenarios. We can do scenarios all day long. We could be here till 10 o'clock tonight doing it. I just think that I think we've made our views and safety views and concerns, and that's where I'm standing. I'm all about the safety.
I actually don't think it'd be an unusual day where we had more than 60 boats in the water. And they don't all get used in one day.
As far as getting an expert in to do that, I mean, 4 months, I mean, listen, you say that it's not a lot of time, but it all depends on how bad you want this to see how much time it takes. I mean, I would have thought you could have located somebody, in this world of, communication, to find somebody to get an opinion of it. Aerial photos, whatever. Coast Guard, I mean.
We have been working on it. We actually thought we would be able to get a deferral to be able to have more time to get that together really well. Yeah. The reason I'm doing it tonight is because we weren't able to finish doing that.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
Can I ask the representative of the buyer to come up and present?
I think at this time we're going to move to the public, and then we'll come back to the buyer, if that's okay. The buyer was not sworn in. He wasn't here.
He was not, but his agent was.
Okay. I think we'll move on to, if he wants to come forward. Do we have 3 minutes per? Are we limit to 3 minutes?
Not a quasi-judicial.
Okay.
No.
If he wants to come up now, or if he wants to wait until after the rest of the public speaks that has raised their hand to speak.
All right.
We want what's best for the community on this property. We want it to be something that everyone would see as a repeatable thing for the community, something that we've seen as owners of the property to be in high demand. I'd like to withdraw this application at this point so I can have a chance in the future to work with the community to come back to you guys with something that has all the due diligence that the community deserves and that you guys deserve as well.
Madam Mayor, if he's withdrawing the application, then there's no decision that needs to be made.
Okay.
He would have to, just for the public's knowledge, he would have to go through the whole entire process again So they
Yes.
would have to resubmit an application. They would have to go through the review process with the planning board. They would have to resubmit it here. It would be under the new UDO and whatever ordinances and requirements are under there. But if the applicant, it's like kind of like taking a dismissal of a lawsuit, so to speak. It's out of your hands and it's into, they'd have to restart it whenever they felt necessary to restart it.
There has been an ordinance change, so this does like work against our process for submitting something. The ordinance has changed. By withdrawing this application, like we're resetting ourselves and we're doing it with like more ordinances in place to work within. I understand that, but what's like more important is actually making sure that we come here with the right information that has the best due diligence, that's good for everyone here on the board, it's good for Surf City, and it's good for the community that's here today. So that's why I want to withdraw the application.
Okay.
I would just suggest for the record, we just do a motion to accept the withdrawal and then proceed forward.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the withdrawal.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion to withdraw is carried.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to close public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
A second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion to close public hearing.
Looks like you did have one person that wants to speak.
Everybody wants to leave.
The public hearing at what's closed.
Okay, motion during the public hearing. If anybody wants to ask us questions outside, you're welcome to.
Anyone that wants to leave at this time, now is your chance to leave before we finish up the meeting.
About all the fun things that are going on.
Attorney looked at me, that's the buyer's attorney, and he went up there and said, I don't have an appraisal. They lost that. And he looked at me and I was like, y'all need to come out.
I'm sorry. We can't hear you. Come forward.
So if you were supposed to come out of public, yes.
We closed the public hearing.
They closed the public,
I know Ty, actually.
accept the withdrawal. I think it's fine the way we did it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're good. These rules got me.
Get it together, Brett.
I don't think we had to do that.
Everybody out.
They're back up.
All right then.
Entertain the buyer.
Look at our trees.
From the water to the trees.
Okay, moving right along to item number 2. Ordinance amendment is the residential tree canopy, and Sean Olds will present.
Surprised everyone didn't stick around for this one.
I know.
Still got a good crowd.
And new plantings. Yeah, so I don't have to tell you guys, but with the new ordinance, the new land use code last year, we've had a bunch of ordinances that have fallen through the cracks that were incorrect. So this was another one that was brought to our attention from a few builders who were meeting these requirements, and we did not have it in the ordinance anymore. So what it was landscaping requirements for new plantings, and it was in Appendix A, Section 5.73, and this was called residential tree canopy, and it was for all residential properties. So it was based off square footage. Most commonly, we have a chart that's in here for your review, but it was 10,000 square feet and below. It was one tree in the front that you had to plant and one tree in the rear. And every 500 square feet above that, 5,000 square feet above that, you had to add another tree in the back, vice versa. And that chart's in there for your review. But this would be like the others, the pool update that we did last month, where it would just be adding it back in. And there are in your packets several several of the policies and objectives from the comprehensive land use plan that support that: minimizing hazardous development, island preservation, and protecting the natural environment of Surf City. And I have recommendations in there for the best place to put that back into the ordinance, which would be section 7.44C, which already deals with landscaping requirements.
Come at a more better time than a couple weeks ago being Arbor Day.
How we planned it.
Does anyone have any questions for Sean?
I have a question. Okay, so depending upon what the square footage is, it's one tree front yard, one tree rear, and so on and so forth.
Correct.
Is there any trunk size that we have established? Is it, can somebody buy
So like calipers, that was a new word I learned. So we measure caliper size for trees that are pulled out in the CFOD. So if you take out any tree that's bigger than 3 inches diameter, you can't take those out if you're clearing a lot. So if you clear out a 6-inch tree, you have to replant 2 3-inch trees or 6 1-inch trees. So we mitigate that in the ordinance, but as far as this is concerned, we don't have requirements on size.
Yeah, because somebody could.
We just have requirements on the
somebody
tree.
could plant a tree about that thickness, and it's really not going to.
For sure. Yeah. Well, no, we have our handbook that's on the website, salt tolerant plants. So there's a group of about 15 trees that we require you to plant. Like you can't have palm trees. Everyone thinks it's native, but that doesn't count towards the requirement.
It's a grass.
Yeah. Okay.
People don't know that. Fun fact.
Sure.
Any other questions for Sean?
Nope. I don't.
Hearing none, it is requested that the town of Surf City.
Public hearing.
Oh, open public hearing. We didn't open it back up?
No, we haven't. Just
Oh,
did the
this is,
staff-
okay.
Yeah, you just.
So
did staff
do I have a
report.
motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to open public hearing.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Public hearing is open. Any other comments from the public? Sure.
Come on up. Come on down.
I'm Gloria Blanton, 205 Triton Lane. I wanted to ask about the size, like, say I'm in a townhouse.
Right.
And you've got to have a tree in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've just gone through this in the past year with all these at Triton.
Right,
We had to
okay,
spend thousands and thousands of dollars for water stuff that the trees hook down in because there's just not adequate space. And then the tree roots, spread out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious what the thought is on that.
Yeah, I believe since that would be part of a overall development, when they come in with 6 townhomes, they would be responsible for the trees that go in as a vegetative buffer when they put those in. I'm not sure about as a single owner what you would have to do in that instance, but I can let you know.
Yeah, but if you would, because it really got very expensive because the trees actually had to be removed because they had wrapped all around all
Right,
the stuff.
yeah.
So that's just something I wanted to check with.
Yeah, no
Thank you.
problem. Sure.
Any other questions for Sean? Anyone from the public that would like to comment during this public hearing? Anyone else that would like to comment during this public hearing?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
If I can just respond to Councilman Koloski's question. We do have a minimum of 2-inch caliper and a minimum of 8 feet in height. Not to overstep Mr. Olds here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Just letting you know.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to make a comment during public hearing? Hearing none, do I have a motion to close public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Public hearing is now closed. It is requested that the town council consider approval of the ordinance amendment as presented. Do I have a motion to accept?
I would put a motion to accept as presented, yes.
Yes, second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to old business, Kyle will present us with the pay and classification plan amendment for the Parks, Recreation, and Tourism.
All right, thank you, Madam Mayor, and good evening, council and members of the public. This is the follow-up from our work session, which we talked about the results of the organizational assessment for the Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Department. The result of that was the elimination of the special events supervisor position. However, it was adding a new position to oversee both special events and the Welcome Center. So that would be the special events program supervisor would be the job title. It is necessary for council to adopt the amended pay and classification plan to recognize this position, in which we will continue to work forward with the job description, assuming that both of those duties, and hopefully getting this position advertised and hired here very soon. Happy to answer any questions. A copy of the pay and classification plan is within your packet, and we went ahead and made the adjustments for just the grades for the other positions that were recognized within that assessment.
Does anyone have any questions for Kyle on the pay clarification plan amendment? Hearing none, it is requested that the town council consider approving the plan as presented.
I'll make a motion, we approve the plan as presented.
I'll second it.
Have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is Station 25 Fire Department expansion.
All right, thank you again, Madam Mayor and Council. Again, at your March 21st, 2025 Council Work Session, the Station 25 expansion project was presented with a guaranteed maximum price for the Fire Station Bay expansion project. The GMP is a representation of the anticipated cost of the project, placing risk back onto the contractor to execute the project. Significant due diligence has been performed on the project to include structural analysis, architectural design, and investigation into trade costs. Discussion was had concerning several line items within the GMP, and which are explained through the following. First line item is builder's contingency, listed at $50,000. This is used for design changes while in permitting, as well as items that may not have been included in the development of the plans. The plans have been reviewed preliminarily, and the fire code has been consulted for general conformance. Confidence remains high on this, that the plans developed are permissible without major change. Owner's contingency, line item at $50,000. This is used for items that the town may want to include during construction. This may include things such as blinds or sills, or for items such as bad soils, if they get in there and have to remediate some of that. Due to the nature of the project, there's not a lot of finished areas that would require additional material or items not accounted for in the plans. The nature of the project is primarily steel structure with split face block material, and again is generally unfinished on the interiors. This is the bay expansion for the project. There's a line item for potential cost increase at $75,000. Admittedly, this is an abnormal line item and was included due to the volatility in today's market. The price for steel is generally only good for 24 hours and maybe up to 1 or 2 weeks. These funds, if not necessary, due to the pre-engineered metal building package costs remaining consistent, would not be spent. Design build fees, $230,000, $220. These fees are associated with basically the project management, supervision, safety manager, for the overall project. So you can think of sort of the project manager that's on site, that's directing subcontractors and tradesmen. Landscaping for $37,500. If the town does not exercise this line item, the cost will not be incurred by the project. Change of scope does not represent savings back to the contractor and only to the town. So again, if we look into the landscaping plans and find that it's not necessary for that full cost, it is not one of those savings that would be shared between a contractor and the owner, which is us. This would just come directly back to us. We would not spend that money. Please note that all line items must be reviewed by the town's representative and the contractor before any money is spent. All items must be put out to bid and quotes received according to North Carolina statutes and Surf City purchasing policies. Cost savings representative of savings that will go back to the town and contractor should provide incentive to seek the lowest price possible. In conclusion, three main items could represent cost savings on the overall GMP proposal that have been identified, which are the builder's contingency, owner's contingency, and landscaping line items. The town remains committed to overseeing projects and seeking cost savings where they are presented. And when discussion, just to elaborate on sort of the incentive side of the cost savings, is that the contractor can always seek minimum requirements, seek minimum bids, and they get what they get. This provides incentive to them to continue to seek additional trades or contractors to put in bids that we may garner a lower price, and therefore the reward is shared with both the town and the contractor in this scenario. And in speaking with the project manager on this, they would be willing to cap this at $200,000. I shared with council. Bob Rawson is here in the audience, who's been leading the project for DR Reynolds, to answer any questions that council may have. And if we do move forward with the project, we still want to talk with our financial advisor on, is this something we're going to pay with cash, or we're going to go ahead and finance because we have some other projects coming forward, and interest rates, et cetera. So you will see the money side of things in the very, very near future, but want to get this in front of council so that we can make informed decisions and move forward.
Just have one question. So I know we had all looked at this line item by line item on the workshop agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's not here.
It's not here.
Okay. I apologize for that. That it was within your packet for the work session item. If it didn't get carried over into the agenda packet,
Yeah, I don't see it. It's not, well, it's not a page one. So it's not anything we
okay.
I just want to know the difference, because I know there was certain questions, and I just want to
Yeah,
for us to
so-
see the numbers.
So the GMP in regards to the numbers does not change. It was clarification on what those numbers meant, because there's a lot of questions on what is owner's contingency, what is contractor's contingency, what does it mean when we are splitting cost sharing, and that's what the follow-up on those dollar figures were. So like when, for example, electrical trade for the project. They're going to consult with their electrical engineer or a company in which they're familiar with working with to get an understanding of what the electrical cost would be. That specific trade, once we get moving in the process, that has to be bid out. So their number is again, that guaranteed maximum price. However, each element of that project still has to follow public bidding and procurement law. So it would be our hope that using electrical as just an example, at $73,694, we get a bid come in at $60,000. And then there's that difference of 13. Those items would be where the shared cost savings would be distributed. But that's how that process will work as we move forward in trying to obtain the best quotes for each one of those items.
Do you require a minimum of 3 bids?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes. Yep.
Does the developer, the contractor, does he have relations with any of those bids?
So yeah, I mean, they would want to submit, this potential job to a contractor that they work with. The other scenario may come out that there's a local contractor that we would prefer to go with because, again, we'll use HVAC as an example. There may be a element of that bid that includes a warranty or preventative maintenance associated with it. So we would then want to use that as the more qualified, even though it may not be the absolute lowest, because that's a local presence. We have some assurances with the contractor, or subcontractor, I should say.
In the event that anything comes in bidded higher than what they've allocated on there, then that's the max price that we have to pay them for it. If they can't get it any cheaper, then
That's
they're stuck
correct.
to that
And
price.
there's going to be things like owner contingency, or excuse me, contractor contingency that's going to have to make up some of those differences. And that's why they have to be, the risk kind of gets pushed off to the general contractor in this process to deliver something to us. And the last thing we want to do is have to come back before this council and request a change order. A change to the scope of the project, because
On the other side, though, Kyle, the higher contingency you give, the more leeway you give.
Correct.
Right? So and I agree with all of this, but I sometimes would rather you come back with a change order because we've made somebody tighten their belt.
Sure.
Than in those, for example, in landscaping, I'm still $37,000. I don't want to sign off on $37,000 for landscaping.
Understood.
Okay? I'm just saying that those are little things. We're in the society of dotting our i's, crossing our t's, and keeping our finances tight. So that's why I guess we're asking these questions.
Yes, and when we get to the loud and clear on the landscaping, we had a good, solid discussion about this a couple of weeks ago, but they put that number in based on what the plans look like or what the ordinance looks like. We may already be there with our landscaping, or it may be a $5,000 job. That does not mean we are going to spend $37,500 on landscaping, and that's where, working internally with the project, we would do that. And I'll just reference back to when we built this project. It was the same process of a design build, and I don't believe that we had to come back to council for any major change orders. I think we built Mr. Horn's tower was one of those things, and we might have even pulled that out of owner's contingency when we had that decision to make.
Any other questions for Kyle? Hearing none, it is requested that the town council consider approving the expansion as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve it as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And I will remind the mayor and council, we are working very diligently on the next phase of this project, which is our public utilities facility. We were delivered a guaranteed maximum price on that. I'll share that with you at a later date, but I want you all to be comfortable in the process and continue to ask the questions, because they're good questions to ask, and we want to make sure that we're moving forward on the straight and narrow. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, new business. Our Chief of Police, Phil Voorhees, will come up and present the next 3 items, starting off with School Resource Officer understanding, and then the Pender County ABC interlocal agreement, and then the Onslow ABC interlocal agreement, which will all take specific action. So.
Okay, that was my question for the attorney. Do we need to vote on each one separately?
One separately.
Okay, very good. The first item that's up, first of all, it's good to see everybody. Good evening. The first item that's up is the School Resource Officer Memorandum of Understanding. It's expiring this year in July. The language of the understanding is the same. That has not changed. Really, the only thing that's changed on the document is the dates. The SRO program for the Surf City School, we have a Surf City police officer that's there. He takes direction directly from the administrative staff of my office. We can control what happens there. We have direct access to the staff. He's our liaison. It's good for the police department. It's good for the community, and I hope that you would vote to continue that program.
Any questions? If not, as requested at the town council, consider approving as presented.
I'd make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second that.
I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries to approve. Item number 2.
Okay.
Pender County.
Is it Pender or?
On ours,
Pender,
it's
okay, I'm sorry.
Pender, yeah.
Yeah, it's Pender County ABC interlocal agreement. We entered into this 2 years ago with both Pender and Onslow. We entered into this, we sent 2 officers to be trained as ABC officers. We entered into this agreement with them so that these officers could act on their behalf and enforce the rules and regulations of the ABC Commission. And this was done out of need that we have so many businesses. We have over 80 businesses in town that sell alcoholic beverages. And we do have a partnership with alcohol law enforcement, but they are spread very thin, and we weren't getting the type of response that we needed, and we felt that it was best to send our officers to be trained, put them in the businesses, and work with the business businesses to make sure they were in compliance. I feel that this program has been very successful, and I've gotten a lot of feedback on it from business owners that feel that it's very helpful to them, because we're not going in there looking to violate people. We want people to be in compliance. We don't go in there to write them tickets. We make sure that we go in there and that they're abiding by the rules. It also gives us the opportunity to train employees of these businesses on safe habits of responsibly selling alcohol. So I'd hope that you would go, and this does not cost there's no monetary, there's a $1 agreement with the Pender ABC board, and the cost to us is really the training of the officers.
Any questions for Chief Voorhees? It is requested that the town council consider approving the agreement as presented.
I make a motion to approve it as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, and third, same thing, the interlocal agreement with Onslow County, they both read the same. They're both signed on the same date, and these agreements are good for 2 years, and we'll continue to do our enforcement with ABC. Unless you want to give me the whole spiel again about it.
Any questions for Chief Voorhees? Hearing none, it is requested that the town council consider approving the agreement as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve it as presented.
First and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Next item, Surf City Fitness Site Plan, and Sean Olds, the man of the day, will come back up and present.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Brian Barkman is requesting approval for the Surf City Fitness Site Plan. It's located at 14160 NC Highway 50. I'll get these slides on deck for you. There we go. We've got animations on this one. The Pender County GIS is 42355431760000. Mr. Barkman is proposing a gym and fitness center on the site. The applicant states this will be a modern fitness center utilizing a pre-engineered metal building system. This proposed structure is designed to provide a functional and aesthetically appealing space for health and wellness activities. The fitness center is designed with a variety of amenities in mind, including showers and saunas, locker rooms, various workout stations, and a children's activity room. Based on the site plan, the development will consist of a single one-story building totaling 11,000 square feet with surrounding parking, bringing the total impervious to 34,529 square feet. The applicant has worked with the town to provide landscaping and architecture plans associated with the development. He has applied for an NCDEQ state stormwater permit, as well as his NCDOT driveway permit, as this is a shared access. An easement and driveway agreement are included in your packet, and the architectural plans are also included for your review. The applicant did not need a TIA, as the belief was that there may not be more than 100 trips per day. The applicant has been working with NCDOT as part of the initial site plan process to modify and extend their access for ingress and egress, and based on the cursory review by the NCDOT concerning that driveway connection, the entire site was reconfigured to increase the driveway vehicle stacking distance from 58 feet to 190 feet. The driveway connection is currently under review by the DOT. The site does meet minimum utility requirements to receive water and sewer from the town. The applicant, as stated, is working to get their state stormwater permit. You can see the facade views here. It's really hard for you to see the elements that are marked out by the percentages, but here's a color mock-up of the architecture there. So they have submitted architectural renderings for the proposed building, and they are consistent with the requirements of the ordinance and similar structures in Surf City. Planning Board recommended approval as submitted on March 11th, and staff recommended approval as submitted.
Does anyone have any questions for Sean?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Hearing none, it is requested that the town council consider approving the site plan as presented.
I'll approve the site plan as presented.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries to approve. All right, moving up next is the manager's report. I should say thank you to the Barkmans and the family here that have Surf City Fitness. Thank you for investing in Surf City. Okay, Cal Brewer, manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council and members of the public who stuck around with us. Want to give several updates on projects that are ongoing and ones that are about to start. First off is the Banks Channel Navigation Project. As noted at the last council meeting, town had to request an extension to allow for dredging production to continue through April 12th in order to facilitate closing out the project. The extension request was granted and crews continue to work through the new deadline. Following the completion of dredge and sand placement activities, Norfolk Dredging Company will need to demobilize or remove equipment and pipe from the beach area. This will require them to work throughout April, and particular attention will be given to facilitate the trucking of equipment and loading at the Kinston Beach access. We met with Chief Voorhees and Lieutenant Hawley to talk about this operation last week because that flatbed 18-wheeler will back up onto the Kinston access, and they're loading steel pipe and other equipment, boxes. It's a very dangerous operation, and we need to make sure that we have full protection of our community with that. And also too, when they do demobilize, they'll stack pipe in areas, so it won't be one singular pipe strung out across the entire beach like it is right now. So we'll try to centralize some of those areas so that when they do demobilize, not all of the beach area will be impacted. Last night, we had an incident with the storm. A barge got loose and unfortunately caused significant property damage to docks and boats along the waterway down in Topsail Beach. Norfolk Dredging Company will be working with these property owners directly. However, if you've had damage or you know somebody that does, they can't get up with anybody, tell them to call the town and we'll facilitate getting them in contact with Norfolk Dredging. And from day one of the project, we've maintained a spreadsheet of complaints or concerns. We've had a window break on the beach side, et cetera. So just trying to make sure that we follow up on our side as well. Quick update on the core project. So the town received a draft of the chief's report for review and comment. These comments are due back to the core by the end of April, which I think will align very well when the mayor and I go up to DC as part of our TISPC delegation, and hopefully, or generally, we have a meeting scheduled with core headquarters so that hopefully we can urge them to get that signed in May, which they have stated here recently that we are on track. I also have a scheduled meeting Thursday with our project manager, Mr. Tranter, to review this and other items pertaining to the overall project. On the topic of COATS, the town will again participate in the COATS program. The contractor has set dates for pickup for residents for May 9th, 16th, and 30th. Residents will be able to purchase dune plantings directly from the vendor, and information will be posted on the town's website and social media very soon. If you know oceanfront property owners that may not live here or may not get that message, please get that out to them. This is a tremendous opportunity to continue to add to the health of our dune system, and May is the time to be planting. In addition to the dune plantings, the town will be working to install sand fencing and post and rope at all public beach accesses, as well as other key areas. We're waiting on our CAMA exemption approval, and then we'll schedule time to begin installation. We'll be reaching out to all of our committee members to come help make this light work, and hopefully we can get this taken care of before the major summer season.
When is that going to be, Kyle?
Well, the sand fencing is an 8-week lead. That was ordered about 2 weeks ago. We ordered a tractor trailer load. So as soon as that comes in, or we know it's going to be delivered, we'll schedule that. We can do the post and rope in advance. I just got to get the CAMA exemption. So as soon as I get that, we'll get the word out. Thank you. The boat ramp project, I'll be performing a walkthrough of the renovated Surf City boat access area next week. If all goes well, we're hoping to be able to deliver this project back to the community very shortly thereafter. So please keep an eye out for communication regarding specific timing. and I probably know who's going to be the first one lined up to use it. In addition to the boat ramp, the kayak launch had sustained some damages, so the welder will be out at the end of the week, schedule allowing, to get that completed as well. Got a couple of major stormwater projects moving forward. We've been doing a lot of smaller projects throughout town, but we are moving forward in advertising 2 projects, one being located at Seahorse in South Shore and the other one at Roland Avenue. The projects will be advertised and bids will be due next month. With potential contract award, we'll stagger these projects to begin the latter part of August for the Seahorse project, and then after Labor Day for the Roland Avenue project. I've shared those plans with you. Consist of infiltration systems, subsurface infiltration systems, pervious pavers in Roland and catch basins to alleviate some of that flooding in those locations. And it should serve as somewhat of a facelift in Roland with the pervious pavers. Should look good. Got a couple of updates on our mobile application. So we're currently in the development phase of that. Working with the vendor on the basic style and design and initial content formatting. So we expect the first iteration within the next few weeks. Then we'll test to evaluate the fit, feel, and finish and make adjustments as needed. In addition to this, we are adopting the C-Click Fix program that is also in development phase. We do have the workflow built out for when requests come in and have some standardized processes that will be routed to appropriate individuals. So bringing that back to the community so that they can let us know where we need to focus some attention on. So those are 2 projects that are coming forward. Just real quick on the budget, staff continues to review the submitted departmental requests and projected revenues for the upcoming fiscal year. As I state every year, this is going to be a difficult budget simply due to the service delivery needs of the community and cost escalation across the board. It's our goal to deliver a budget to council that addresses council's strategic priorities, in which we discussed during our retreat. Sandy already mentioned, but the spring street sweep, we are still going to have a street sweep on April 12th. The committee is going to meet and work downtown and freshen up some of our landscape areas. But as she alluded to, the town's going to be asking our residents to participate in the spring street sweep event, with a campaign being launched where people can tag the town highlighting their own efforts, within their neighborhoods, or join the committee on April 12th to work around the Island Town Center. So wanted to put that out there. And then last, certainly not least, this has been 2 years in the making, but we had received a grant to purchase 2 electric vehicles. I don't know if anybody even recalls that, but through the carbon reduction program administered through NCDOT, this is an 80-20 cost share. So the town being responsible for 20% and the state or federal covering 80% of that. So we finally got the grant contracts and are able to start moving forward in procurement. This will replace 2 fleet vehicles within our facilities and grounds department. So what we're looking at is some larger electric transit vans so that we can carry materials from job site to job site without being in the back of a truck, and keep our folks moving across town. So just wanted to report that finally coming through. Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to attorney reports.
Nothing to report.
Yes, nothing. Okay. All right, we'll start with Alicia.
Who? Me?
Start with Alicia.
Oh, hi. I'm just. Thanks everybody for coming out. That's it.
John?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. We had a packed house tonight, which was good, but and I'd also like to thank Troop 777. I had the privilege about 4 months ago getting invited to one of their meetings, and it was quite interesting. They're a nice little bunch of guys and a girl, actually, and it was good, but thanks for everybody coming out. That's it. That's all I got.
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Hugh?
Again, I want to follow up on what John had to say with the 777. I used to be, my family used to be a part of that Cub Scout troop a while back. Puts a little smile in your heart seeing them kids pop off their salutes. The Pledge of Allegiance, I told Jeremy when they finished up, I said, our future is safe and secure. Thank you very much. The lions, tigers, and bears. Thank you.
Yeah, this was, I couldn't find parking when I got here tonight, so I thought, good, okay, I want all the people to come. That's when when we're here in a room or any place and we can share and talk and learn together. I appreciate that. So I do appreciate everyone who took time out of your own day and other responsibilities to come here. I know we didn't spend a lot of time. I appreciate a lot of Kyle's report was about sea oats and sand fencing and street sweep and beach renourishment. And so I just think that's obviously something we got to focus on this time of year. We're getting the beaches ready but we know there's a lot of people who'll be coming and enjoying it, but it's also part of the process of us keeping up with the wear and tear that happens on our beaches and taking care of the accesses and all that. So I do encourage everyone to come and be a part of cleaning up what you can clean up, your street, your area, or whatever, and plant sea oats and all that stuff. It takes all of us. So.
Thank you. Just wanted to say thank you again for everybody coming out tonight. Thank you to our staff that puts in a tremendous amount of hours and excellent work. Want to welcome Allie back to the town of Surf City. And also I think there's 6 volunteers that are in this room that either sit on several committees. You got Desiree, Brian, Donna, the doctor in the house, and the jet skier in the house, and Stan Griffin. I'm not forgetting Mayor Pete. I would like Mayor Pete to stand up.
Oh yes, Mayor Pete's here.
Oh, and Kimberly. So we actually have some. Mayor Pete, please stand up. Yes. So what we know is that Mayor Pete's going to solve our problem that we had tonight. So out in Hawley Ridge, he's going to build this really nice boat ramp and this boat storage out there, right?
You go, Pete.
But thank you for being a partner and us communicating very well with our. Yes. Thank you. I think Cal pretty much said everything. I know before we meet again, we'll have an Easter egg hunt. We'll have National Day of Prayer. We'll have Ocean Fest. A lot of good things that's getting ready to happen in our community when the weather starts turning and staying warm. So thank you again for coming out. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Thank you for coming.